Previously on They Called Me. Anna Repkina, a very recent Russian immigrant, is found murdered along a logging road in Alsea, Oregon. Police find a possible connection to her death due to trash being left near her body. To be precise, they find a KFC wrapper with a date very recent to the discovery of her remains. And through research, they were able to trace it back to one William Hargrove. During the investigation, they would find that William has another woman in his life, a woman named Michelle. And in episode 1, we saw Michelle being questioned about any information that she could share about her relationship with William and potential knowledge about Anna's fate. Little does Michelle know that during the first half of her interview, in spite of what investigators have told her, it's not just William that is a suspect in the case. And in part 2, detectives will turn up the heat on Michelle, picking apart her attempts to act brand new, but eventually getting their investigation one step closer toward receiving justice for Anna. Okay, so where were we? At the end of episode 1, Michelle is very hesitant to allow detectives to download the contents of her cell phone. So they bring another detective in to try to talk her into it, and she's like, I'm ready for that smoke break now. And that's where we pick up.
That's okay. You can doctor that one up however you choose.
Okay. You said you got more information?
Yes, we have more information. Well, what that means is...
Where are you guys at right now?
We finished off with... we didn't discuss anything any further than that she had been to a spot in March where they drank Nankazi beer.
Remember that last part? Okay.
Had to drive under and really nothing beyond that.
But that was back in March.
Right, back in March.
Okay. So, Michelle, we need to... Basically, when we talk to people, we don't know if we're talking to people who are suspects we should be talking to, people who are witnesses, people who... wrong place, wrong time type of thing, stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay? So we need to know what happened this weekend.
I told you what I know happened this weekend. What I've done, what happened as far as where I was. So I don't know exactly what you mean by that now.
Okay. So when we talked to Will, there is trash that he dropped that was removed from his car in LC.
Okay.
I need to know if that was something that happened when you guys were together, or if it was when something you witnessed, and I need to know where that trash ended up.
Okay. As far as, like I said, the where we were between the general store and coming back over the mountain. We didn't go any further than that. Like I said, other than the turnaround, and I'm pretty sure of that. I did, like I said, have a couple of drinks. My dad can witness to that. I had been drinking at my mom's house.
Okay.
But as far as that goes, in the place that I had told you about, we went before.
The place that you described going camping in March.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay.
We built a fire and had a place that I'd been working. I blew work off early and I went out with him. That was in the middle of the night. It was a Saturday night, but that was back in March because there was still snow.
Okay.
So.
What would you say if Will was talking about how you guys were there this weekend?
We've been out there this weekend?
Yeah.
We didn't go up there this weekend. He and I, I don't think we went up that far. No, we didn't go up that far this weekend. No.
Okay. I want you to remember something when we ask questions.
Obviously,
we know the answers to the questions we're asking.
I
we want to make
understand
sure
that
people are being honest.
Right. We didn't go up that far this weekend. I didn't go up there.
You didn't go up there with?
Not with him, no.
Okay. Who'd you go up there with?
I didn't go up there at all. I haven't been up there this weekend. I went to the farthest I went was the LC General Store.
Okay. LC General Store tapes, the security camera from the stuff on the outside, inside. Was it just you two in the store?
I didn't go in the store.
Who in the store?
He went in the store. I didn't go in the store.
Okay.
I didn't go in the store at all.
Okay.
I don't even know what the inside of the store looks like, quite honestly. I've never been into it. I know
Okay.
where it is.
But you're outside in the car?
Yeah.
So any of the cameras right there would obviously show you sitting inside of the Xterra?
Yeah.
Okay. Sitting in the front passenger seat? Okay.
Yeah.
Who else are they going to show that's in the car?
I wouldn't know because there was nobody else in the car.
Okay. You wouldn't know because...
Unless he was out there earlier that day, and I didn't have any knowledge of that because I hadn't talked to him until he called me. And no.
Okay.
I'm really lost and confused, and I'm not going to lie to you. And right now I'm pretty freaked out and scared. Okay. But as far as it goes, I don't know. I don't understand.
Take one deep breath. What you told me before is that you got a call
Yep, he called
at
me.
4:56.
Yep.
And he picked you up at your mom's house at that time.
He did.
Okay.
Well, he called me. That's a little bit of a lie. He called me. He was going to pick me up. And then he didn't, and I'm sorry, I was going with what I told my mom. He didn't actually pick me up from there. Because I drove out to the LC General Store and I parked right next to her on the side in my Prius. And he was in the front, he was sitting in front of the store.
Ma'am, you might be able to get away with lying to your husband, but you can't lie to everybody.
And where is your Prius now?
My Prius is up in Vancouver at Dick Hannah's. Dick says yes. I bought it back at the end of February. They were putting in the leather seats in the car. So that was part of my deal.
Okay.
When did you take it up there?
I took it there on Monday. Because it was an appointment that I had.
Okay.
Yeah. But I
To change the seats?
To just change the seats from cloth to leather. Yeah.
And
I
that's
didn't.
Dick Hannah in
Yep.
Vancouver?
Yes, and I didn't go anywhere from there. That's the furthest I drove.
How'd you get back from...
From there, I drove there to the general store, sat there with him in the front. We drove back towards the mountain, came back to the car, back towards Mary's Peak, and then came back to the car.
Okay. And is that what the video's going to show?
Yeah.
It'll show you coming up in a silver Prius?
I parked on the side.
You guys are right next to each other?
No, I parked on the side. So here's the store. There's a side lot right here.
Okay.
I parked right here on the side. That was an open spot. He was sitting in front of the store.
Oh, he was in front of the store? He's parked in the front of the store?
Yeah.
And you were on the side of the store?
And when was that?
Not long
Without looking at your
I
phone?
don't know. It was not long after however long it takes to drive from my mom's to there.
And so the 4:56 call that you're
That was
talking
the
about?
Yeah, that was when I called him and that was when I was leaving my mom's house. Because he said he was going to come get me and he called me back. And he said he couldn't come get me. And I said, okay, well, where are you? I'll come to you then. We can talk.
Okay.
And that's where it was.
And why didn't he tell me that in the first place?
Because I was still going off of this stuff with my mom and honestly having the affair and everything, my husband and all of that. That's the only thing.
Okay.
So.
So the things that we talk about
Right.
in this room?
I understand that and I didn't mean to be.
Okay.
Who was with Will?
There wasn't anybody in the car.
Who was in your car?
Nobody was in my car. It was just me.
Okay.
It was just me. Because I left everybody at my mom's house.
Is Will seeing anybody else?
He was seeing somebody else.
Who was he seeing?
Her name was, I told him earlier, like Anna or Aunt or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. It was a pretty basic, boring name.
Okay.
So he said that they had called it off and they were done.
Okay. Is that something that caused problems in your relationship?
It did, yeah. It did.
When was the last time you saw her?
The last time I physically saw her was back at Christmas time. It was when she was in my house. She was here for 2 weeks. I met her once.
From talking to us, why do you think you were talking to you today?
I don't understand that part.
Okay.
That's where I'm confused. But obviously at this point there's something that's, and I so just level with me, that'd be great.
Do you
Then I
read the
can
news?
understand. On occasion I do, but I don't have cable at home.
Okay,
So there's no offense, it's depressing.
I know you've been talking with your dad, and your dad said
Now
that.
I understand what's going on, and
Tell us then what you think you're here for.
I understand it seems like that you guys have reason to believe he had something to do with that girl out in Althea, and I don't know, and I honestly have nothing to do with that. That's not who I am. I have kids. I wouldn't do anything with that, and I want nothing to do with that.
Okay, so Michelle, evidence
Mhm.
that would put him,
Mhm.
maybe others,
Mhm.
was found at the scene where somebody died.
I got that part now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm telling you. That's what
Okay.
happened. You need to
Okay.
understand that.
I'm getting that.
Somebody died,
I get
okay? And we need to know exactly what happened.
that. I honestly couldn't tell you because I have no idea about it. I honestly don't know. I do not know. The man that I know is not capable of something to deal with anything like that. If that's not the man that I know, that's news to me, and right now I'm all over the place, and that's understandable, apparently.
Okay.
But as far as with things like that, I have nothing to do with that.
I want you to know right now that Will's under arrest for murder.
Okay. Okay.
You need to start over from the time that you got to the Alcee Mercantile.
That's what happened.
What happened after you got there?
I got out of my car. He was sitting in his car. I went to the car, got in the car. He asked if I was all right. I'm like, no. My blood sugar is such low. He went inside and came back with Pepsi and the Reese's and cigarettes.
And then what?
And then we sat there and talked for a few minutes. And then we pulled off and we drove and we talked. And we were gone for maybe a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes at the most. And kissed and then had sex in the front seat of the car. Came back to the car because I was like, I have to go home.
Came back to your car.
My car back to the back there to the store. And then I drove home. And he drove home. He followed me. He was like a car behind me, or two cars behind me most of the way. I watched him. I pulled off, turned off onto the 13th to go to my mom's house. And he drove past. That's what happened. Where he was earlier that day, I don't know, his phone had been off.
You had said that before. Had you
So
been...
you met him in Alcee that day?
Yeah. He was supposed to come get me to talk to me. Because we were supposed to talk because we've been fighting.
Why in any realm of reality, why would you meet in Alcee?
That's where he said he was. It's not normally where what he said he'd been doing was he was going out to go see and talk to his brother, well, his best friend Sam, who had committed suicide years ago. And the spot that he goes out to talk to him is out in Newport.
No, that's where he took you camping.
No, Newport.
No, that's where he
Well,
took you
we went camping in Alcee, yes.
Where his friend committed was where he took you camping.
That's where I didn't know that.
The guy in the red shirt is the deputy that responded.
I didn't
Listen
know.
to what I'm saying.
What?
That Will called and said, you need to go here. This is where my friend committed. That place that I'm telling you.
I didn't know that. We had never talked about where Sam died or anything like that. I didn't know.
It's the same place.
I didn't know that. I had no idea of that. Every time he told me that he was going to go talk to Sam, he was going out to Newport.
Okay. Tell us about the shotgun that Will had.
Will had a shotgun?
Yeah, you've seen it.
I know that Havoc, our friend Kevin, had a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
I know he borrowed it a couple weeks ago. He was going to go shooting. I thought he'd already returned it.
Okay.
I didn't know he still had that. Because, see, I know he doesn't own a gun anymore. And I don't have guns in my house. I didn't know he still had it. He had it a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't know he still had it.
Okay.
I thought he'd already returned that to Kevin.
Okay. When was the last time you saw it?
It's been a couple of weeks.
Where?
In the back of the Xterra. In the back of the Xterra, the same weekend we went, like the weekend after we went camping, because he had blankets in the car, and I I went to go get them out of the car, and I was like, we need to give that back to Kevin before he gets worried he's not getting his gun back. I thought he already gave that back. I didn't know that he hadn't.
Okay.
But that's been a couple of weeks. I don't go through his car.
Michelle, at this point, if there's anything that you're not telling us is not helping Will, it is only hurting you.
I'm not interested in helping Will, honestly, because I have, like I said, I have kids, and I'm not.
Well, you're really wrapped up in this right now. You're very, very, very wrapped up in this, okay? Sometimes we're talking to people who are co-conspirators for murder.
It's not, definitely no.
Or we're talking to people who are in the wrong place at the wrong time and may know things that they don't want to talk about because they're too hard to talk about.
I can tell you right now, number one, I had nothing to do with, if he had, and from what you're saying he did that, I had nothing to do with that. I was not anywhere near it.
Okay,
that's not me.
Let's not talk about that then. Let's not worry about that you did anything, but we need to know exactly what he told you about
where he was that day.
How it happened.
He didn't tell me. He never told me. I don't know anything about that. I found out last night on Facebook that something had happened. There was a girl out there. But I also know that there was like 2 other people that died out there. So there was like 3 this week, or this last week. But as far as it goes, I didn't even go. I saw it on Facebook. I kept going through my Facebook feed. I didn't go any further into it. I didn't think that was anything you have having to do with.
How are you not extremely upset right now to know that the person who you were romantically involved with?
I am very upset right now. I'm very upset right now. Right now, though, I am so, like, I don't understand how that can be a person that I have spent the last year and a half with trying to figure out how to have a life instead that I was willing to leave my husband for. I don't understand. That's not...
Okay. If there's any... I know he already explained the Cellbrite machine to you, probably, but what it does, and I'll say it again, is it goes through electronic devices like this, and it not only finds the information that's in a phone, it goes through, I'm sure you've heard of cookies or the cache and all this stuff that's deleted files through a phone. It goes through everything. It pulls all that information out. Because these phones are,
right.
more powerful than computers a couple years ago.
Right.
They hold tons of information. It's going to have all the deleted text messages, pictures, everything that's going to be in that, okay? So, what I'm asking you is, if there's conversations between you and Will, anything related to this whatsoever, they're going to be discovered.
There's nothing related to this at all. He was seeing somebody. He'd got an apartment in town. I asked him, we'd been fighting, that's mostly what we've been fighting about. I'd asked him that if he really wanted me to leave, that we needed to get back to this, then he needed to leave her too. I don't know who she was because I hadn't seen her.
Mm-hmm.
I know where his apartment was. I know I was in it.
Was there any, between the two of you, any messages, maybe jokes, anything else where you saying you need to get rid of her? You need to insinuate.
I said you need to fix this.
Anything that would insinuate somebody getting hurt?
No.
What does fix this mean?
Fix the relationship. You need to
Whose
fix
relationship?
our relationship. You said you were going to fix this, that you were going to stop, we were going to be able to focus on us. Then you need to fix this. That's what it is. You promised you would fix it.
And when was that?
That's been over the last couple of months. The last time was Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Yeah. Because he said she had left, and then I was supposed to be able to come over Saturday night, and we were going to hang out and watch TV and
Supposed to
eat
be able
dinner.
to come over where?
To his apartment, to the apartment he'd gotten.
And where is that apartment?
Off of Garfield.
What's your understanding where she would have been?
She said she'd gotten on a train, and she was going back to Seattle.
No, that was when? On what day?
Friday. Friday or Saturday, one of those 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she showed back up, and that's what the argument was about. And that's when I was like, you said you'd fix it. Today was supposed to be about us. What happens when she doesn't leave again?
That day was when?
That was Saturday night we were having the argument. So
Okay.
I guess Friday is when she was supposed to have left.
Okay, and Saturday she showed back up.
Yeah. But I don't
girl we're talking about?
I don't know who she is. I don't know if it's the same one from December. I don't know if it was a new girl. I don't know. I have stopped asking questions.
How'd you know about her in general?
The girl from December, she came to my house.
No, the new one right now.
Because I found messages on his phone talking to somebody else.
What did those say?
Like, I love you. Things are going to be great. You're my soul. That kind of thing. You've been talking about that they were talking about possibly getting married. And I was like, but I don't understand. That's where we've been at. We've been fighting for the last couple of months over that kind of stuff. Because I didn't understand how if I got that pot calling kettle. But if I was really going to be doing the things I said I was going to do, then if that was the case, then how things are going to work?
Okay.
I don't understand.
So Michelle, I know the area you described earlier about the logging road and exactly how you did it. You described it exactly to a T. Okay. You've been up there. You've seen the equipment. You've seen
I've been up there in March.
You've seen that there's trailers and that there's stuff. Logging companies like Weyerhaeuser and bigger operations or people that are making roads are very careful with their equipment, and they want to make sure that people aren't vandalizing and stealing stuff, anything like that. Okay.
Right.
Stuff's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, I completely understand all of that.
That being said, the equipment and companies like this, like you would see in a bigger store, tend to have the cameras that are going to show roads, they're going to show their equipment, they're going to show everything in the area to make sure that, when they can call us and we can come deal with vandalism.
Right.
Okay?
Makes sense.
So, we need to know when we go through this, what we're going to see in regards to you.
I haven't been up there in a while.
Okay.
I haven't been up there in a while. I went there in March, but I haven't been up there since then.
Okay. So, like I said, the cameras are very businesses, very powerful, and see things, read license plates, give us the evidence they need because people have investments in this stuff. See through windows, see everything that's going on in those areas, like on the roads where there's equipment, or any termite equipment, people like that stuff. They don't want it to get ruined.
No, and that makes complete sense. I understand that.
Okay, so what are the cameras going to see when we go through that? What would a camera show that would point it directly at that road?
What road are you talking about? Because I don't understand.
The road where you went up where you had the campfire and drank the beers. This weekend.
I didn't go up this weekend.
Cameras on the road, what are they going to show?
They wouldn't show me. I didn't go there.
Okay. So they're not going to show you, but what would they show?
I don't know, because honestly, I haven't got an idea. I don't know. The last time out there wasn't any equipment on the road.
Okay. Could your car be on those cameras?
My car, no.
Yeah.
My car never went up there.
Okay.
I wouldn't take my car up there.
100%.
Swear.
There's
I
no
swear
way
on the
your
life
car's
of my
up there.
children, my car is not there.
Okay.
My car never went up there.
Is there a possibility that you were sitting in the Xterra and went up there this weekend? Maybe at a different point. Because if you went up there at a different point this weekend, with him, with Will, then we didn't know you went up there, because maybe you went up there multiple times. Okay? So we need to know if there was, if you straight through that window.
I don't know what fucking day it is right now. As far as
Wednesday.
This last weekend when you guys met in Alcee.
I didn't go anywhere near the
Those days right there. If we went right through that window right now.
I didn't go there on Sunday at all. No, because it was the thing.
Saturday
I didn't go anywhere. Sunday or Friday evening we went. It was still daylight. We went out that way.
Where'd you go? Friday.
Maybe end up on one of those logging roads up there past
Yeah,
Alcee?
we went driving.
Okay.
We didn't go, didn't stop anywhere specific. We went
Okay.
driving.
Maybe you didn't stop. On Friday, did you maybe end up on that same road where you described, where you take the turns, you take the left-hand side, and you go up there, and you pass the heavy equipment, and you take that really hard right? Is that maybe something? Is
it possible? Yes, but was I paying attention because I wasn't thinking we were talking? We were trying to plan out things because I took over my sister's apartment lease. She had left. Things were going to be good. We were going to have a relationship. We were talking about whether or not we should put my daughter, because I do homeschool with my daughter, maybe we should put her into public school.
Okay, where did you go Friday?
We went on a drive. We went out past Alcea, but I don't know I wasn't paying attention to everything. We were talking. It was like a good moment and everything. I wasn't really paying driving, I'm smoking cigarettes, we were talking. But we didn't go up to that camp spot because I didn't go up there. I mean, we went on a logging road, but I don't think it was the same one. I don't think. Quite honestly, I don't think it was, but I don't know at this point because I wasn't driving. I wasn't paying attention. I really wasn't. I don't understand.
If you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, let's talk about this. Let's work things through. Okay.
I swear to God, I was not there. That's not something that I could.
I know.
That's not something that I could. No.
Okay.
No, that's not something that I can do. We went on a drive on Friday.
So if I'm hearing you right, if we went through videos if there's videos within those the heavy equipment out there, we could see you on a video potentially going up that same logging road, sitting in that Xterra.
I didn't see any equipment though the day that we went on a drive on Friday.
Or would it be in your car?
Not in my car. My car, I wouldn't take my car up there. It's a small carriage car.
You remember where you camped at though, right?
Yeah, and I have not been up there since March.
Okay.
I have not been up there since we went that one night. That was the first time that we had went up there. We went up there again a weekend, probably around like 10 days after that. It was like a Thursday night. We went up there again.
Who's we?
Will and I. It was just Will and I. We went up there again. It was like a Thursday night. We went up there.
What'd you do?
We had a fire. We had some hot dogs he got some sausages,
Okay.
and had some s'mores.
How'd you start the fire?
With wood and some papers that he had in a paper bag.
Wood from where?
He had it already. I think he got it at the Jackson store.
Jackson's?
On 9th Street. The Chevron on 9th and Grant.
Okay.
He'd already had the wood. I think it might have been left over from the weekend before.
Okay.
But that's the only times I've been out there.
Okay.
And then on Friday we went for a drive, but we didn't go to any camping spot. We didn't go.
You went up logging roads though.
Yeah, he was driving, but I wasn't paying attention to any of that stuff because, like I said, we're supposed to not. Things are supposed to be better.
Mhm.
There's no way that I know a man that would do something like that.
Okay. Do you know how DNA works?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know how DNA works in the way that there's some huge developments in DNA and touch DNA and all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay. You haven't seen Anna in a while.
No, the last time I physically saw that person, when I saw her, she was in my house. I only met her one time. She shook my hand. She met my husband.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
There was talk that she was going to come back, and then I told him that I didn't want her to come back.
Come back from where?
That she had left, and she'd gone home.
Where's home?
I believe, if I'm right, I think she is from Russia. I know she had an accent. So I think she is actually from Russia. I'm not 100% sure on all of that, though.
What was she doing here?
Visiting him.
That's right. Anna and William met online. And Anna came all the way from Russia just to be with Will because she loved her some Will. You can imagine that probably made Michelle feel pretty jealous, which is a little bit strange considering that Michelle has a whole husband and 2 children at home.
Back in December, that they were visiting.
How did they meet?
Online. Online.
Okay.
I know. That's all I know. I don't know.
Okay. So what we want to clear up, because obviously we're going to do the thorough investigation that we always will, is to make sure that when we do any DNA from her entire body, clothes, hands, hair, face, everything, anything that would come from you. Like if you maybe you had seen her more recently than what you're saying, and maybe you're like, oh, but I saw her and I shook her hand just within the last couple days.
No,
we would need to know that stuff.
No, I haven't seen her. I have not. I physically have not seen her. I have not. So no, I have not seen her.
Okay.
I know that he had laundry over at the house, that I washed his laundry. There's a couple of things in there that weren't weren't mine. And they said that she had left because when I was folding them up. But no.
What was he wearing when you met Nelsie?
A pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
What else?
I think he was wearing his house shoes. I think I wasn't paying attention to his feet. But he only has his house shoes and a pair of boots. And he has another pair of boots that he doesn't really wear because they're really worn out, like blown out on the sides and everything.
What kind of boots?
They're the ones that are really messed up or Bates, I think is the brand of them, because he was talking about trying to get them resold.
And what are the other kind of boots you wear?
The other one, we got them at Fred Meyer's a couple months ago. I think right before Christmas or something like that. Or maybe right after. He only owns that's all he owns.
So the pair of Bates that are blown out.
Right.
Pair you got at Fred Meyer a couple months ago, or Fred Meyer where?
In Albany. I don't know.
And then house shoes that your kids got.
Yeah, they're from Old Navy. He was complaining about those like a week ago because the side of them is coming apart.
Okay. How's Will been the past few days?
He's been usually pretty good, and then he goes distant for a while.
What do you mean?
Kind of just stares off into space.
When did he start doing that?
He does that periodically, though. I didn't think anything of it. I took him. He had to go to the emergency room last week. He thought he was having a heart attack. I was there with him.
Last week when?
It was a Monday night. So.
Monday of last week or Monday of this week?
Not last. So today's Wednesday. Not this Monday. The Monday before.
Okay.
Yeah. I took him to the emergency room. He was there for like 4.5 hours. They did CTA and all kinds of stuff on it.
What does Anna look like?
What I remember, she looked like probably around 5'6", 5'7", maybe above 40.
Mm-hmm.
Longer blondish brown hair, not dishwater, a little brighter.
Mm-hmm. What else? Tattoos, scars,
Not that I know.
piercings.
Her ears were pierced. I don't know anything beyond that. Well, the one day I met her, she had her jacket and stuff on. They were getting ready to leave and go somewhere. I think they were going to dinner or something like that. I shook her hand, but I don't know if she had any tattoos or anything.
Okay. So back along the lines of anything we're going to do electronically is for phones, computers, social media accounts, everything like that. I want you to be completely clear with me that there's no conversations between you and Will in relation to somebody dying.
No.
Somebody being hurt.
Somebody
No.
being hurt.
No.
Because
No.
if Will texted you, told you something,
No.
you talked in any way about this,
Just about
he could
months ago.
easily wrap you up in this whole thing.
No. We talked. The only things that have ever been said that I guess could maybe even be construed is I said you need to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
You need to fix this. That's what I said to him.
Okay. Are you aware of everything that we're doing right this very moment?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by
Because
that.
when we put all the pieces together for this, we have every last piece locked down 100% right now, okay?
Okay.
So we have, you're here,
I got that.
okay, Will's in custody.
Okay.
We have your husband.
Bobby's here.
We have your house locked down. We have the apartment locked down.
Okay.
We have every piece of this.
And the vehicle.
The vehicles, everything, okay?
Okay.
The way up to get your vehicle, including all the seats, everything else past
That's
that,
fine.
okay?
But
So-
she's never in my car. I swear to God, I understand, but never in my car or anything like that.
Okay.
No.
So with that being said, if there's things you're keeping from us now because it's kind of scary to talk about, and we find something later on that even suggests this much to point towards you knowing something about this that you aren't
No.
saying, then I'm going to assume that you're a part of it.
I told him he needed to fix this. She was supposed to go away. wasn't supposed to be, they weren't supposed to be a thing. There wasn't supposed to be anything. It wasn't supposed to happen.
Was that in a phone call or was that in a text message?
There's text messages about them fixing it. I gave him an ultimatum. He got mad at Saturday night. I gave him an ultimatum Saturday night.
What did it say specifically?
I'd have to read it.
Think about it.
I don't remember what exactly specifically it
Think
said, but
about
I'd have to read it. I mean, I can pull it up for you and you can look at it.
Don't look at it. Think about what it said. If there's anything that can be misconstrued about being that you might have took something differently than you intended it to be taken, think about it. What do you think it said? Your best guess.
You promised you'd fix this, so you need to fix it. I showed up at the apartment Saturday night and he wouldn't let me in. I assumed she was there.
No, that's the first I'm hearing of that.
But I don't know. I never went into the apartment.
When did you go to the apartment?
It was probably around like 10:30 or so.
10:30 Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay, take it from there.
He wouldn't let me in. He met me outside.
What did you talk about?
It was like, so it's her or I, pick one.
Well, he did.
Well, that's not what I wanted. So that's definitely not what I wanted.
He fixed it.
That's not, okay, that's not at all. She was supposed to just go home. Or he was supposed to come home. I asked him to come home. To pack his stuff up and to come home. And I said that. I said that a couple different times.
Here's what I don't want to have happen. Here's what I don't want to have happen. To have Will say something different than what you're saying.
And we're going to hear from Will himself in less than 48 hours. Mr. William the Lube Tech. Man, I'm telling you, if my wife cheats on me, she better cheat on me with somebody that makes a lot of money so they can pay for her nails and her hair and all that stuff, man. Oh, sorry, I was thinking out loud. I'm dropping that video in 48 hours unless I get 1,000 likes and 1,000 comments in the video, and then I'm going to reward you by dropping it immediately. We're going to take our quick commercial break. Man, that's a lot to take in. We'll be right back.
I don't know what he's going to say.
I
don't know this person.
The problem is there's a lot of inconsistencies between the two people, between you guys talking, and there's obviously a lot of sides to a story. Okay?
But I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know this person. I don't understand. I don't know, and I don't get it.
The reason we're asking you more and more and more is because obviously you've been untruthful with other pieces of what happened.
And at this point, everything that I have said is exactly true. What's happened.
But the longer we talk, the more you tell us that we didn't know
when
I talked with you before.
I get that, and I completely understand that.
So what else?
There isn't anything else. There isn't anything else. You asked when the last time I saw her. Physically, the last time I saw her was back in December.
And
as far as that's the one and only time I've physically ever seen her, touched her, anything.
And I asked you if you talked to her on Saturday, and you told me no.
I talked to him Saturday. Yeah, no, we talked on Saturday. That's not true. I said we talked on Saturday. And then his phone went off. And I hadn't talked to him, and his phone went off. I told him he needed to make a choice. And we talked on the phone. And he said that he was going to come home. And I sent him text messages asking him, because I ended up getting a call from Polk County to go pick up people that were drunk. And the driver was going in for DUI or something like that. And I said, I'll see you at home. And I was like, actually, I've got to go do this run. I'll see you at home. And I never got any more responses.
When was that?
That was probably around 11 or so. It's in my phone, 11:30, something like that. He never answered me. He never answered me on any of that.
Okay.
He never answered me. I assumed when I got done with work and everything and his car was still by the apartment that I sent him a message like, obviously you've made your choice. You're not coming home. I'll let you be. His laptop was at my house.
That wasn't a message here?
That was a message, yeah. I sent him that message.
When is your phone going to start pinging out there?
Out where?
Out in LC.
It was on Sunday. That's where I went. During that time frame, exactly that's the only time I was out there. That's when it would show up, is when I drove out there.
Do you understand? Do you understand
I
how pings work?
understand what you're saying.
Do you understand how pings work
So that's why she doesn't want to come off that phone. She knows how this thing works. Unfortunately, she doesn't seem to understand how search warrants work. Something tells me she's not going to get to leave that room with that cell phone.
I understand. What I'm telling you is that I never went up there. No, I have nothing to do with that. And by me asking him to fix it and come home was pack up your shit and come home, because I also said that very clearly. He said he was coming home.
Why didn't you want us to have your phone?
It's just creepy. I don't understand. I have other things in there I didn't want my husband to know, but now it really doesn't matter. So go ahead. I don't fucking care. That's really why. I want to try and salvage something, obviously.
Are there pictures or videos or what?
There's naked pictures in there and stuff like that.
Stuff
Yeah.
between you and Will?
Yeah.
Are there pictures from Saturday or Sunday?
There were pictures of snow. No. There's no. I don't think I took any pictures maybe of my kids at my mom's house for Easter. No.
Okay.
No. I didn't.
Well, did you get a total timeline from her from the weekend timeline?
Minus the mess up with, well, not the mess up, my own omission of him picking me up versus me going out there. What actually happened is he was supposed to come get me, said he couldn't come get me.
Why?
That his blood sugar was low.
Is he diabetic?
That's what they determined at the hospital, is that his blood sugars were off because he was at 178. Been checking his blood sugar on occasion. It's been sporadic and everything. He's supposed to be getting information from his job so that we could get him in to see the doctors. Because that's...
So when you get the 456 call,
Yeah.
he tells you he can't.
He said he was having a hard time. His eyes were blurry and he felt like his sugars were bottoming out. I was like, okay, fine, I'll just come to you. Where are you?
And you're...
He said he was sitting in front of the LC Channel store.
When that call was made.
Yes. I'm assuming that's the time to call at that point. Yeah, that's when it was. And I drove out there and I parked like I said and I got in the car.
So what you're
He went
telling...
to the store and he came back out.
Right. But what you're telling us is, prior to you meeting him at the LC Mercantile,
Yes.
you had not seen him since
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Probably around like 10:30.
So from 10 or 10:30 Saturday night until 4:50 whatever, when he tells you where he is,
That's right.
you're telling us you have no idea where he was.
No, I don't. I went by his apartment on Sunday morning with
When?
his book bag and probably around 11 or so, 11:30.
What did you see?
His car was parked outside the apartment. I rang the doorbell for 20 minutes. Nobody answered.
His car was at his house on Garfield
Mm-hmm.
at 11:30 Sunday.
Yes. I left his backpack on top of the car. I assumed he was ignoring me because he didn't want to handle the breakup like an adult. Since he had decided not to come home, I assumed he had decided he wasn't and he was done. So I left the book bag on top of the car.
Where'd you go from there?
I went to Fred Meyer's. I got Manny's for my mom. My mom called me. She went off on me because I told her I was leaving my house like half an hour earlier and I should already have been at her home. She's not happy about the situation that I was having an affair. And then I went from there. I got gas at the Chevron on Kings and Circle. Got coffee at the Human Being and went to my mom's.
And who was at your mom's?
My mom, my little sister, my daughter, my other little sister, Jamie and Amy, my mom's kind of roommate, helped take care of her.
Where's your dad there?
No, my dad didn't get there until about 2. He lives somewhere else. They have
Okay. dad was there when you left?
Yes. My dad was there when I left. My husband and my kids were there when I left. I told my husband that Will had gotten a flat tire and I needed to go help him and go talk to him. It sounded like he'd run off the road or something. I made up an excuse so that I could go.
That was when you was in LC?
Yeah. That was Sunday afternoon-ish, evening.
So you had a flat tire in LC?
That's what he said, but I got he didn't say he had a flat tire. That's what I told my husband, is he had a flat tire.
That's what you said.
He had a flat tire. That's what I told my husband, is that Will had gotten a flat tire and that he almost hit a deer and had run off the road.
So you just made up the story.
I made up a story to leave. Yes.
Okay, but he did have a flat tire.
Apparently, but that, from what he told me earlier, that was earlier in the day.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I knew that there was one tire in the back of the car. That was from the Stealth that's in my driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other tire was, he said they'd gotten a flat tire.
Okay.
So now we narrow it down to between 11:30 and 4:56 when you don't know where he was.
But I don't know where he was or anything like that. I don't know if he was at home or not. I assumed he was at home. I don't know.
The Xterra was there.
The Xterra was at the house. Yeah. But I don't know.
What kind of car did Anna drive?
I don't know if she had a car.
You don't know if she did?
No. I don't know that she has a car. I don't know.
Okay.
If it's the same girl from what I met in December,
Mm-hmm.
she's not from here. I don't think she had a car here.
Okay. All right.
I didn't have anything to do with this.
Okay. Do you understand how it looks, though?
No, I get it. I completely get it. But I understand that, but I didn't have shit to do with this.
Are you willing to take a polygraph?
Yeah, I have 2 kids. I didn't do anything with this. But if I'm going to take a polygraph, no offense to anybody, I want a lawyer.
I'm not saying that you need to take a
Okay.
polygraph.
Okay.
I'm just asking.
No, that's fine. Sure. Yeah, I'm
Because usually when people are adamant,
I'm trying right now to wrap my head around the fact that I have been sleeping with a man for a year and a half that is capable of something like that.
okay, before I ask you any other questions, you mentioned an attorney. I just want to be clear that you're comfortable talking with us right now without an attorney present.
This particular moment, yes. May I have a
Okay.
cigarette, please?
Do me another favor.
Yeah.
I'm asking you for all kinds of favors.
Oh, that's fine.
If you change your mind,
I'll let you know.
Good.
I'll let you know right away.
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Whew, that was close. I thought our day was going to be over really soon, but he talked her off that ledge, though.
Just leave that phone here for me, please.
Can I just see what my boss sent me a message? It's right here. You can look at it.
Okay, don't worry. Come when you can. We'll do our schedule. Sounds like things are good.
Yeah, and my mom.
It's going to voicemail.
Yeah,
You're busy.
Well, no, not me. I asked her to call my boss because I
Oh,
sent
okay.
her a text. My boss hadn't answered me yet, so
Okay.
I asked her to call my boss.
Fair enough. Leave that dude here. That's the last thing you need to worry about is what's going on that phone.
I'm not comfortable leaving it here considering you guys want it, but, well, you know what? I don't care. Just have it. Oh, I mean, I want it.
Huh?
I'm just talking like
And after watching her for a couple hours and then watching how she behaves when she doesn't get her way, why do I feel like I've been in a relationship with this woman? It's like, dang, this is what we're doing when you don't get your way?
And then we'll let you make some calls, okay? Did he just walk out, or has he been sitting here for a while?
Who?
The other.
I just walked back in here. I went and smoked a cigarette.
Oh, you're outside too?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. Some clarifying things that I want to go over with you about everything. So, it sounds like you guys had a lot of back and forth about you didn't want her in the picture.
Right.
If you guys were going to be together.
Right.
Right.
Right. You're supposed to be leaving my husband. Is my husband really here?
We're talking to him, yes.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where he's at, so I can't tell you that. There's a lot of back and forth about you saying if you wanted to be with Will, or if Will wanted to be with you, then you wanted her to be...
She needs to go home.
Go home.
She needs to leave. Yeah.
Okay. How many times would you say that you guys had this conversation about...
Over the last month, like 3 or 4?
Ever? Ever?
Back in January after she left, I told him I didn't want her back. I told him that it didn't need to be a thing.
Okay. So you said, so she came back.
I'm assuming it was her that came back. I never physically saw her and said she was back, but I never...
He said she was back?
Yeah, I never physically saw her or anything like that, so I don't know.
Okay. So...
He told me that she left, and I went over to the apartment once, and then I was going to go back over, and she had come back, so I couldn't come back over. And then, again, she'd left.
Was he living in the apartment after she had left?
He'd been staying there, yeah.
Okay.
He was going to stay there through the end of the month, because then I was taking over my sister's apartment, because she's moving, and then he was going to stay there through at least the end of the month, and we were going to possibly talk about moving in together and stuff like that at that point. So
Okay.
I was going to try and separate from my husband.
Okay.
So that's why I was taking over the apartment from my sister.
Okay, so just recently you thought she had left this last Friday, right?
Thursday or Friday she was supposed to be gone. Yeah, Thursday. Thursday she was supposed to be gone.
And you got that information from Will?
Yeah, he told me she had left.
Was that text messages or what?
No, that was in person.
He said she left.
Yeah, he'd come home.
And where'd she go?
Bought a train ticket to go to Seattle. She was going to leave from there.
He said she bought a train ticket to Seattle?
Yeah.
Is that where she's from?
I don't know. I don't think she's from Seattle. I don't know. From what I was told, the information I was given, she was from Russia.
She's from Russia?
So I'm not 100% on any. At this point, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to take or not take as far as I
Okay, you thought she was gone on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, she was booked because I went.
And then you found out she was back when?
Saturday. Because I went over the apartment on Friday and we talked for a little while.
You were inside the apartment on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the apartment Sunday evening.
Okay.
And then I was over there again yesterday because he had left his work jacket and stuff there. And I got those in his pillow.
You got his work jacket
and his pillow.
His pillow from his apartment on Sunday.
Yeah. On yesterday I got the pillow and the jacket from his apartment.
Okay. That would be Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday you got that from the apartment.
Yeah. I saw him at his apartment on Sunday. Though he was after we had talked and everything, and I left my mom's. I stopped by. I was there for like 15, 20 minutes.
Was that before or after you went to Alcee?
It was after. It was after because I had gone back to my mom's.
Okay.
And he said he was at the house, and I went by there, and he was there.
What's the conversation like about Anna at this point? What's your understanding about where she is?
She had left. He hadn't heard from her.
Okay.
So she's not showing back up. He's like, I don't think so.
Okay.
He goes, but if she does, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start packing up my stuff so that I can come home.
So
All her stuff's gone.
most people would say something along the lines of, how can I be sure?
I asked him.
How did he prove it to you that she was gone this
all
time?
All of her stuff was gone. There was nothing.
Everything's gone.
There's like a watch, I think, on the counter. But all
is
of
that a lot of stuff?
Like gone? There was no clothes in the apartment of hers. The bathroom was cleaned out. There wasn't anything. There was no female products in there that I saw in there.
Did you search?
No, no. I
mean, obviously, like being an other girl, jealous.
I opened up a couple of cabinets.
You're like, prove it to me.
I did. I opened up the closet. There was nothing of hers. There was no female stuff in the closet. The bathroom was empty. There wasn't anything.
And what did he say?
He said, see, I told you she was gone.
Okay.
He's like, okay.
Okay. What would you...
I was like, well, I'm going to go home. He's like, I think I'm going to go out to Peacock and go play pool. Did you want to come? He's like, not tonight. I don't think I can. And then we texted off and on while he was out. He felt bad because they had been yelling at each other and told her he hated her.
You told Anna he hated her?
Yeah. He had said that to her.
Mhm.
He said it to her. He was singing and he texted me and he's like, "Can I get a ride home? I shouldn't be driving."
This was
But
on what night?
This was Sunday night. It was into Monday morning. It was at like 12:30 or so. He had called.
Sunday night he told you he was yelling at Anna?
Not Sunday night he was yelling at Anna. He'd been yelling at her the last conversation they had had.
Okay.
What he told me on Sunday when we had talked about her
Mhm.
was that they had been yelling. She told him that she hated him. He's like, "That's great. I hate you too. You need to leave."
Mhm.
But I don't know when that conversation between them took place. I didn't ask at that point. I was just like, "She's gone. Fine."
Okay.
And when are you hearing that?
I heard that on Sunday from him.
When on Sunday?
Sunday evening.
Where are you when you hear this from him?
When I was in his apartment. I went into the apartment he said he was at home. I said, "I'm leaving my mom's." He said he was at the apartment. I was like, "Okay."
Now wait a minute. Sunday evening is when you met him in LC.
Yes, but this was after I had gone back to my mom's.
Okay, so you go back to your mom's.
Go back to my mom's, talk to my mom about stuff as far as told her that he had run off the road and that he had almost hit a deer.
Right.
And
I
that's why
understand.
I told her
Yeah.
the story.
But he said that you guys they were yelling at each other. They talked about how they hated each other.
Right, and then she had already had a train ticket. She was gone, and I was like, because I had told him when we were in the car that I didn't believe she was gone, and he's like, "She's not there. She hasn't been there."
Okay.
And then I went.
So if Will said that he killed her for you, how would you take that?
That's not something that I want to hear. No. It's not something I would ever. No.
Okay.
No. No.
Okay.
I own a jealous streak. I'll give that. And I wanted to have a relationship with him for what I thought of who he was. This man I don't know.
Mhm.
And I want no.
Okay.
But that's not something. No.
Okay.
No.
What other ways did he prove to you that she was gone?
He said there was nothing in the apartment. I started opening up cabinets and there was nothing there. And I said, "Okay, fine."
And this was
Sunday night.
okay.
Could he have sent you any pictures to prove to you that she was gone for good?
No.
That might have been deleted from your phone, might
No.
have been something that was unsolicited that
No.
you got?
No.
Because sometimes in a case like this, people will say, "Here's the evidence, now we can be together, you need to believe me." That way they don't have to deal with the arguments and the fighting and everything else.
No.
Is there any possible way that there's anything like that on your phone that's been deleted?
No, there's not.
Any possible way that anything on your phone's been deleted that shows that he said, "This is what happened and this is how you can know
No.
that she's gone"?
No.
And maybe you freaked out and said, "I don't want it, I don't want to be a part of this."
Nothing like that's in my phone. There's nothing like that because I never received anything like that.
Okay.
Straight up honest. Like I said, I have babies. There's no
Yeah,
way.
I feel you.
This is not. No.
I understand.
There's a level like I'm fine with you getting into a fist fight or putting her
Yeah.
on a train and just or dropping her and her shit off in the middle of Portland. I'm fine with that. That makes me sound like a dick. I'll own it. But no, that's not okay.
Do you ever think there's an okay time to kill somebody?
Self-defense, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe life-threatening. But I've never been in that situation.
Would you consider her a huge obstacle between the two of your relationship? And with her, that was stopping you guys from actually being together?
It was causing an issue and a conflict, yes. Had I told him, I had gotten defeated and I said, "If you really want to keep her, fine. Just fucking own it if that's what it is. If you want to, I will go off to the back burner. These things that we had talked about and said, that's fine." I'm still doing.
Is that documented in your phone?
Some of that might be, yes. I don't remember what is conversation versus text message.
Okay.
I don't know.
So there was no part of you that liked her, though? You didn't like her because she was the thing that was coming between you and your new life?
Yes, but did I wish somebody like that? I would never wish anybody dead like that, no.
Okay.
No. That's not something.
How does it make you feel that she's now no longer in the picture whatsoever?
I don't even know what to feel about anything right now. That's not something I would wish on anybody.
Okay. One other thing that we do for this is, like I said earlier, when we talk to people, we don't know if we're talking to suspects or witnesses or everything like that. So, with that, I'm sure you've watched TV, you know what it is. You know what a polygraph test is?
I do.
Or like a lie detector test.
And we talked about that.
What do you think about that?
You can do it, but I want a lawyer. Don't take that personal. But I will have a lawyer for it.
Okay, sure. If we gave you a polygraph test and it said something along the lines of, did you assist in the killing?
The answer is no.
Okay, and you would say no. What would the polygraph test say?
I honestly, from what I understand, they work. My heart rate's going right now and everything. I can't tell you how well that will or won't go.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you the answer is no.
Okay.
I understand the basics of how they work,
Mm-hmm.
but the answer is no.
Basically, they work if you tell the truth. They say you tell the truth. If you lie, they say you tell the
I
lie.
meant just like on the whole biometrics part of it.
Yeah.
Exactly how it goes from there. No, I
No.
don't get that part, but the answer is no.
And we're not doctors either.
I'm still stuck on the fact that I was with somebody that's capable of that.
Okay.
I didn't know that. That man has watched my children.
And that's what you were talking about with your dad.
Yes, I was planning a life.
Okay.
I don't understand.
What did you talk about with your mom after you got back from LC on Sunday?
I told her the story
Which story?
about the flat tire and the running and almost hitting a deer, and that his blood sugar was low,
Okay.
and lied to her, said I got him an orange juice and an apple, and that we changed the tire. I didn't change a tire. Didn't get him an orange juice. I didn't buy the apple. And then things were going to be fine. I didn't tell her exactly what we talked about. That things would be fine. And then,
Did your mom know about Anna?
yeah, she knew she was here. I told her the last time he said she had left.
The story about getting a train ticket? Or
I don't even know if I told my mom about a train ticket or not.
Okay.
I don't know if I told her about that. But then we talked about the fact that the trailer that's coming to the house delivered on Friday, that we've got to measure the deep freezers that are in my house because one of them seemed to fit in the house that she's going to in New York, and that I needed to do laundry.
So if I understand right, your sister is moving to New York?
My little sister and her son.
Okay, and your mom
And
is
my
moving?
mom is going to be moving to New York in the end of June. In June, my little sister and my nephew are leaving the end of this month.
Okay. And just to be clear,
Yeah.
your husband knows nothing about.
Well, he knows everything now.
I don't know what he knows.
Well, I'm
I'm
quite
asking-
sure he knows stuff now. But
I'm asking.
my husband knew that Will and I had had a one-time thing. My husband knew that she was back.
Anna.
Yeah, he knew that Will and her had been fighting.
Did Will and your husband talk?
Some, but I don't know what about.
I mean, did they like go out and play pool together?
No. 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 No, they don't.
Well, we're looking at two people that Will's having a relationship with. Why do you think that he chose to kill who he killed?
I can't answer that for you. I don't have that answer. I can't answer why you would do that. I can't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that answer.
Okay.
That's not something I can fathom doing, or how other people could fathom doing that. So I don't know.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily think that you were part of this either, but I want to make sure that that's not the case.
I understand that, but I had nothing to do with that.
You know, part of it is you have to understand.
I get it.
In other cases that we have worked on, things like this have turned out to be very convoluted and very complicated.
Yeah, I can get that.
Okay. So you're saying though on on Sunday when I was absolutely, you didn't pass LC, you didn't go any further than LC, you didn't go up any logging roads.
No, I wasn't driving.
Well, not to your knowledge, but did you not drive past LC, farther out past?
No.
Do you have a Facebook?
I do.
Have you spoken with Anna on Facebook?
Back in March, yeah. Not through Facebook, through Facebook Messenger.
Facebook Messenger. March of this year.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
There was a point where I was like, he had made it believe that she was understanding that he and I had a relationship. And I was fine that that our relationship wasn't going.
Yeah, do me a favor and use names so I know who the he's and the she's are.
Will had made that, he had made it clear to me that I had understood that we had a relationship. I'm assuming that's me, whatever. And I had sent her a message, something along the lines that if we were going to continue to share him, we needed to try and at least be friendly, because we hadn't really talked at all. I hadn't talked at all about that. And that obviously the schedule he was keeping was killing him because he wasn't getting any sleep. I knew she'd see that. And she came back with something about the lines that I just need to go away, and that was her husband. I'm like, okay, well, no, she called me a bitch. I'm like, I'm not having done to be a bitch yet. It's normal catty stuff. She said something about the fact that I needed to worry about my own family and that he wasn't part of it. And it's like, obviously, you don't know, because he is. He claims my kids, which he did.
Is he the father of one of your children?
No. But he just claimed he said he wanted we talked about.
Were you in a relationship with Will prior to the birth of your children?
Of my two children that possess? No.
Do you have any other children?
There is a biological child that I do have that no is not his.
How old is that child?
She's 6 months. She was adopted. I had her from my other sister. She was the product of a one-night stand that I had last February.
No, she doesn't have a baby to stand with her sister from a one-night stand last year. She's still with her husband, and she's got a side dude. No. Can I be real with y'all? Check this out. Okay. All right. White folks are just as messed up as black folks. We got our issues. Y'all got issues too, man. The difference in the white community is y'all don't invite them to the barbecue. The people in our families that are jacked up, we let them come to the barbecue. We look at them like, oh crap, man. But y'all are like, you ain't one of us. You ain't one of us.
Does your husband know about that?
Yes. My husband may think it's Will's because I didn't, but it's not. He was a fare that I had picked up from the Hilton to the bar. He was staying at the roadway.
And that was, she's 6 months old?
She was born in October. I decided to keep her for my one sister, and then things did not work out with her becoming a parent, so she's been adopted to my other sister and her husband in New York.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay, I promise I won't break it anymore. I gotta point this out. Watch Mr. Detective. Watch the detective. Watch this again. I'm gonna play it again, and I want you to watch the detective on the left. Watch his reaction to what she says. Watch this.
She was born in October. I decided to keep her for my one sister, and then things did not work out with her becoming a parent, so she's been adopted to my other sister and her husband in New York.
Okay. I'll be right back.
My man, if he had pearls, I'd be grasping his pearls. Like, I can't do it. He's like, man, I gotta get up and go smoke, man. This is too much. I thought this was a murder investigation. This is a whole freaking dumpster fire.
can't always know everything that everybody's a part of, okay? But the thing for you that you got to remember that you got to keep thinking about is if there's any guilt by association type thing that's going to make you look bad in any evidence that we can discover.
I told him a couple
I want you
times to fix it.
What I want you to do is think right now really, really hard, okay? If we were to search through, like I said before, everything on phones, deleted pictures, messages, everything, through all your deleted Facebook Messenger, all that stuff, because there's a log that kept stuff like that. Search through your house and all the other houses, everything, including any hidden compartments, anything like that. I want you to think really, really hard if there's anything that may be taken the wrong way that would look negative on you. Because sometimes people make comments like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him," you know what I mean? That doesn't mean anything if you say it in a joking way,
Those
like.
things get said all the time, but I don't think. I mean, I say that shit about people all the time.
Yeah, I know.
But as far as relationship to this, I don't know if I've said something like that. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as talking.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I would ever do. Talk about shit all the time. I have jokes with my friends about going out to Montana and building snowmen.
Yeah.
People that piss me off. It's
Yeah.
not something I would ever
But something
do.
like if there was a message that said like I'm gonna kill her or something like that,
nothing
or from something Will sent to you or something
No.
that you were like, oh yeah, it's a joke, because obviously you didn't think he was capable of this.
No.
So what I'm asking is
We used to joke about coffee.
about
The
coffee.
whole thing of coffee. It was a joke.
What's that do?
Huh?
What's that do?
I've heard it was something I heard a long time ago that it can give somebody a heart attack because they've had in it, but that's not something that I would.
Okay. One other thing that the Cellbrite machine does is it goes through like Google searches and internet searches and stuff like that, which is fine because people can look up anything they want to look up on the internet.
Oh yeah,
as long as it's not legal. But if
what
you
looked up,
but is there anything that you can think of that you looked up, whether it was a joke, whether it was something you were just doing research on or messing around of like, about killing somebody or
No, that's not something I would bother.
poisoning somebody? I mean, because like, for example, if you said Google search was like, coffee,
It's not a search on my phone.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, because sometimes then down the road you're like, oh, why were you looking at that prior to this?
I get the no, that's not a search on my phone.
Okay.
No, I don't. To be honest with you, right now, I just want my kids in and out. Because I don't understand.
Me too.
That's not the man that I knew. Not the man that I thought I loved.
So why do you think he did this?
I don't have an answer for that. If he did this for me, it's not what I wanted. I just wanted him to own whatever it was his decision was going to be. Just to be an adult and to say that he needed her and we could then figure it out, or that he didn't need her and she was gone.
If he never got caught and we were in the same, and you were never here and she got killed because she was killed, but she was no longer in your life, made your life happy, what would you feel about that? Would you be happy that was the case?
That she was dead? No.
What if it meant your life didn't have to have any more issues?
I don't understand your line of questioning on that. I don't.
What if she died?
To my knowledge that she had died? That I knew about it?
Either way, what if the fact that she's dead meant that your life, you could live free, completely, your relationship with Will, the kids, could be everything good? Would that be something that was okay with you?
Not knowing that she had died, no.
What if you didn't know?
I can't comment on what I did or what I wouldn't know. I thought she had left to go home.
Yeah.
I thought she left to go home.
If Will would have told you that he killed her, what would you have done?
I don't think I would have believed him. I don't think he would be. If he had said that to me, I don't think he would be capable of that.
If you said, "Where's Anna? Am I going to have to deal with her again?" and he said, police?
If he actually said that to me?
If he said the words, I killed Anna because I want to be with you and I don't want her to be part of our life anymore, what would you
Yeah,
say?
I would. Yeah.
You call the police?
Well, that's not something like I said, when I told him I wanted this fixed, he needed to come home. No.
Even just as simple as, I killed Anna, would you tell us?
Yeah. But that's not something he's ever said to me. It's not something he's ever wrote me. That's something I would definitely say. Like I said, I'm a dick. I'm down for you just packing up your shit and dropping her off in the middle of Portland and having her fend for herself. I'll own that. That makes me sound callous enough. But no, it's not okay. That's not something I would be okay with.
Okay.
No.
Anything else you got right now?
Just so that I'm clear, because I had to walk out, I apologize for that. Does Will think the little girl that's in New York with your sister is his?
I've asked him that, and I told him that she isn't.
So you've told Will that the little girl is not his?
I have told him that she is not.
What's her name? Just so I don't have to call her little girl. Or is that not something you want to say? If it's not something.
It's a bit painful, but
Okay.
her name is.
It's okay.
No,
then.
it's okay. She's family. She's my niece. Her birth name was, and my brother-in-law and my sister are changing it to.
So is there any chance that Will thinks it's his?
If there is, it's all on his own. And I have told him every step of the way that she's not.
Does Will have any other children?
Not to my knowledge, no. Not to my knowledge, no, I don't.
Where was he born?
Women's birthing center here in Corvallis.
Here in Corvallis?
Yeah.
Up at Good Sam on the 4th floor?
No. I had her at the women's birthing center over off of campus. She was in high school manager.
Okay. I was just not.
They just opened up in August. Or July, something like that.
Okay.
Why? Is he asking about her? Is he saying something about her?
I don't think he is.
And why did you ask? No, you had a reason.
I think somebody was under the impression that she was born in New York rather than born here.
No, she was born here.
Okay.
She's in New York, but she was born
Right,
here.
and I'm clear on that.
But what does she have to do with any of this?
I don't know. That's why I was asking if Will thinks.
If he does, that's all on his own.
It's part of what, and this is going to be hard for you to hear. Part of what I'm trying to understand is why Will chose to kill her. So, if you have a guy that has a child with someone, and he thinks in his head that he's gonna get rid of her and get with you and make.
We had talked about having kids. I miscarried in January. I just want to go home. I want to hold my kids. I don't understand.
That's the hardest part for us to figure out, is the why, which is what you're asking yourself.
I don't have an answer. I can't think of one. I would never wish anybody. I mean, I'll say it. I say it. Everybody says it at some point. I'm not nice. Not generally a big people person. I have a customer service job. I don't like people.
As we go to our last commercial break, man, why do I feel like this is the same lady I ran into recently at the DMV? Doesn't like people, works in customer service. Man, sounds familiar. We'll be right back.
So where had Will been staying
him back to my house on Sunday because I asked him if he wanted to go home or if he wanted to go to his apartment. He said, I'd like to go. He said, I want to go home.
And home is your house?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sunday night you brought him home, and then Monday night and Tuesday night you stayed?
Yeah, I brought him into town on Monday after work because I picked him up from the bar and left his car here so he can try and drive home. And I dropped him off at work. And I drove to Vancouver with my kids.
Right.
For my nephew to switch out the cars.
What were you wearing on Sunday? Do you remember?
These jeans.
Those jeans. Okay. What else?
A t-shirt. I think. Like a 3/4 sleeve gray shirt.
What were you wearing on your feet?
Probably my flip-flops. Pretty sure, I don't know.
Were you wearing your boots?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't wearing my boots.
Now, this part right here is crazy because she makes an admission that who would do this?
My mom just told me she never got a hold of Monica. I'm just telling her that's okay. Monica texted me.
And Monica is...
My boss.
Okay. Have you deleted any,
I've been trying to delete messages from my phone all damn day because it keeps bogging down and not sending stuff.
okay.
But it's not just like text messages from everybody. I've been trying to go through and delete text messages in general because I have a ton in here. They take up a lot of space.
So you have deleted messages from Will?
Probably. I don't know if they actually went through or not. Probably not. I mean, I don't know if they actually did go through. I'm not thinking so.
Yeah, you heard that right. She said she's been trying to delete messages from Will. Just can't make it up.
No, I'm thinking they didn't because there's still like a ton in here.
Alright. Well, let's just leave that be.
I'm not messing with it.
Alright, let's not mess with it if we're not gonna mess with it.
So what are we doing now at this point?
We're catching our breath.
I'm not sure that's possible. Is that what I need to sign some papers or something?
Yeah. Notepad. Lock that back and get that phone started. Does it have a passcode or a lock on it?
No, there's not.
Okay, so if I just hit this button, it's gonna open
Yeah,
up.
you just do that and then you just
Swipe up? Okay.
So, getting done with this, right? Okay. You look tired.
I am very tired. I don't understand.
So what's the plan for tonight?
What do you mean?
What's the plan after you leave here?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
To figure out where my husband is. I need to see my kids.
Okay. Where are your kids right now? Where were they today?
At my mom's house.
So they're probably still at your mom's house?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Do we know where my husband is? Does anybody?
I'm not positive. I think he's here, but I'm not sure where he is. But we're with him wherever he is. We are.
Either at the house or you guys are.
Yeah.
So we're either at the house with him or here.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I see my husband?
What's
I'm
that?
not sure he wants to see me, but if he's here, can I see my husband?
Yeah. I'll figure that out for you in a second. Okay. So I have 3 follow-up questions for you. Okay. You talked about how you and Anna had gotten to like arguments on Facebook Messenger one time.
She blocked me and I blocked her. Yeah.
Okay. She blocked you. You blocked her from messaging each other on that.
Yeah.
Can you see each other's Facebooks and stuff?
No.
Did you have her phone number?
I got it from him.
Did you ever text her or anything?
I did. I texted her. Matter of fact, I texted her Sunday because I assumed. Well, I didn't know. I assumed because he wasn't coming to the door on Sunday.
Sunday night?
Sunday afternoon. When I told him.
What'd you say?
I just want my house key to give him his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sent another one a few minutes later, and it's like, we can be adults about this. I really just want my house key, and then you guys will never have to worry about me again. And that was all I said. She never responded to me.
Okay.
I'm assuming that was her number. I got it from his phone.
Okay. So you sent text messages to somebody saying
Yes.
you wanted your house key,
Yes.
you wanted stuff, and you wouldn't bother him ever again.
Right.
Okay. Did you ever say anything? Think about when you talk to our messenger, text message, anything else, and say anything along the lines that you would come across as you were being threatening or bullying or forceful, like does it ring a bell to talk about, like, if you text a message to her in some fashion that said, like, you don't want to mess with me in some way?
Something about struck a nerve, and I was like, I haven't even started yet. Being a bitch.
Okay.
But that was it.
So you told her she struck a nerve?
No, I asked her, did something strike a nerve?
And then you said, I haven't even started being a bitch yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was it.
What did you say to her? What was prior to that about striking a nerve?
Because I told her, it was like, at the point, he hadn't moved anything, over there yet. And it was like, if he really wanted you guys to be a family, then why hasn't he moved in? I told him he should. And I did tell him that he should have. I did tell him to move out at one point, and then took it back.
Okay.
But she said she said something about not having time for your bullshit. I'm like, oh, did that strike a nerve?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And how did he meet? How did Will meet
From my
Anna?
understanding, it was online.
In what way online?
I don't know specifically. I can speculate through a dating website, but I don't know specifically how we met her.
Okay. Have you done any research on any computers, phone, anything like that, to try to figure out, like Googling her name, searching her at all?
No.
Looking her up on any websites, any social media websites?
No. I did Google him to see, because I didn't believe him if they didn't get married. I did Google to see if there was marriage certificates or anything.
Google his name for marriage certificates? Because
I didn't believe him.
Did he say they got married?
No.
He said they didn't get married.
They didn't get married.
And you thought maybe they did?
Yeah.
And how did you feel about that at that point?
That he didn't do it?
How did you feel about they got married that you thought?
I was angry. I just wanted him to tell me the truth. And I didn't. I was really angry.
Okay. Then how did you find out they didn't get married?
He said he didn't, and I didn't find anything filed anywhere.
Did you search anything on your phone of anything that had to do with, like, Russian dating stuff?
No.
No? Do you think that's how he met her?
Probably.
Like mail order bride stuff?
I accused him of finding one of those.
Do you think that's what happened?
I called her that a couple times to him. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know.
Because there's two things in, like, looking at this too, because there's, like, this straight normal jealousy of a woman who's concerned about her husband, or sorry, about her boyfriend, and you're worried about the other girl, so therefore you're doing the research on the internet.
I don't know why he didn't do any of that?
I know that. You looked at the marriage website and
Right,
stuff.
yeah, I did a search, I did that.
But you could be looking stuff up about her to try to, because, okay, so if you did do that, fine.
No, I didn't do any of that stuff.
Other things that people typically do is that, how about like you were driving by the house and stuff too?
I did drive by it like a couple of times,
Mhm.
but I also cab driver and at
Yeah.
work, and it's some people that I pick up and stuff, it's unavoidable, and I go the shortest distance. That's based on what Corvallis is.
So do you know for sure, yes or no, if she has a car or doesn't have a car?
I do not know that she has a car. I honestly don't know either way that she does or doesn't have a car.
So if you drove by that house and
The
you're
only
like looking...
car, if I ever saw that there was a car there, was his car.
Okay.
So I don't know that that she had a car.
Okay.
If she does, I don't know what it would be.
So you couldn't drive by and just say, like, yeah, she's home right now, or
No.
she's home, because
No.
typically you could drive by and see his car, her car, and be like, oh yeah, they're here together, or they're not here together, whatever.
Right, no, I wouldn't have known. I don't think she had a car. I honestly don't think she had a car because he'd say, he's like, oh, I gotta go take her to the store.
Okay. And you think she's from, do you think or do you know she's from another country?
I think she's from another country, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I know what he told. I know what I've been told.
Did you speak good English?
Yeah. From what the like 3-minute conversation I had with her. Yeah. But that was it.
What do you think about her when you met her?
Really quiet.
So he met her on a website, so he told you on the internet.
He told me he met her online.
And I'm sure you asked him, you had to have asked him how.
I did.
And then what did he say?
He never answered.
What would he say?
What do you mean, how we met her?
Yeah.
It was online.
And you'd say, well, how online? Where did you meet her online? You meet her on Facebook? You meet her on
I
what?
did ask him that. He never answered, and
You just sit there silent?
on those ones, I'm like, no. Then I was like, so why? Why did you? Because the how didn't really matter. It was the why.
Okay.
The why was.
Did she ever send you anything that was weird or anything that you didn't
No,
respond back to
No, I never got
on any form of social media or text messages or anything?
No, I mean, back before she got here, she friended me on Facebook. And then...
Before she got where?
Came over in Christmas time.
Oh.
She friended me on Facebook. And then right before she came, I got Instagram and I tried to friend her. She never responded to that. I don't know.
Do you use email?
I do, but I've never emailed her. I don't know her email addresses or anything.
Will have emailed too?
Yeah.
You guys talk on that at all?
I've sent him a couple of emails, but we don't generally talk about it now.
Did you talk on email?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sure this is inconvenient, but can I use the restroom?
Yeah.
After they allow her to use the restroom, they all return to the room and they break some terrible news.
The DAs aren't going to let us give you your phone back.
What?
They're telling us it's evidence.
For what?
So when there's big crimes like this, there's a lot of things that need to be covered, and
But the cloning of my phone would do all of that.
yeah.
So then why can't I physically get the phone back?
You
already
will-
have everything. You already have everything off of it. Everything's there.
You will get your phone back. It's just not going to happen tonight.
When?
I can't give you an exact when.
They're not telling us that.
Is that the John guy?
No. That's the district attorney. He's telling us we cannot release the phone back to you.
But I don't understand why. If you're cloning it, you have everything that's there. So maybe they can come tell me why. Is that cooperative?
It's because, so in a case like this, when we're investigating a murder, unfortunately, when you're in the middle of this whole thing, that's why you have your phone. But with the consent, which we absolutely appreciate, it's also going to be covered under a search warrant, which is us covering our bases for every last way for a case like this.
Then I want it back until a search warrant is provided.
Or seizing it.
The detectives are done playing around, and they seize Michelle's phone, putting it away as evidence to determine how truthful she has been during their interview. With the many unanswered questions we still have in this case, there is only one thing left for us to do: go directly to interview William Hargrove himself. And so we will. In episode 3, we will hear from the lady charmer himself, the guy who got one woman on the verge of leaving her husband and another to travel all the way from Russia just to start a new life with him. If you are like me, you are dying to know what makes William Hargrove a lady magnet. Episode 3 will be out in 48 hours unless you drop 1,000 likes and 1,000 comments on the video before then. And then I'll be compelled to drop it like it's hot. Right here on They Call Me. Till next time.